How about yourself? Happy the sun is out. Yeah. Not too cold, not too hot. It's right. Big time.
How's everything go?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Chester. I'm Tim Carney. I represent the 26th District and big parts of Delaware County. Not Chester, but I spent a lot of time here. It's Chester's so important to the county in so many ways. I want to thank everybody coming out to rally with us for something that deeply matters to all of us: our transit system and our economy here in Delco. So I'm joined here today by my Delco legislative colleagues. I'm joined by riders, by workers, labor leaders, soccer club presidents, congresspeople. We're all standing together here with a clear message. The Commonwealth cannot let SEPTA fail. I'm going to say that again. The Commonwealth cannot let SEPTA fail.
Yeah. You. Right.
Yeah. That's a good one. You can clap for that. So we have, like I said, we have leaders from all around. We have Tim McDermott from the union came down for us today. We have Joe Cochio from the TWU who's here. Yeah. Danny Bruder from the AFL. There's so many people here I can't name them all, but they're all important. They all know how important this is for all of us. So last week, SEPTA's board had no choice but to propose a budget without any needed funding from Harrisburg. Because of the resistance from Senate Republicans, we're facing the possibility of a 20% service cut across the entire 5-county SEPTA region.
Wow.
I'll say that again, the 5-county SEPTA region. The elimination of 50 bus routes, the elimination of 5 regional rail lines, including this one.
Wow.
No special service for sporting events, and more. I was at Philadelphia City Hall last week with riders, legislators, and leaders from across the city to warn everybody. And I'm here again today to sound the alarm. These cuts would be catastrophic and cannot come to pass.
Yeah.
Today we're here in Delco to remind everybody, SEPTA funding is not just a city issue. It's a regional issue. I serve as chair of a Democratic Caucus's Southeast Pennsylvania delegation. I cannot emphasize this enough. Our region is the primary economic engine for the whole state.
Yes.
Our region, the Southeast, is the primary economic engine for the entire state. Our economy depends on SEPTA. To not fund it would be biting off your nose to spite your face. After Philadelphia, Delco has the second highest ridership in the SEPTA system. From the 69th Street station to here at the Chester Transportation Center, Delconians ride the trains, buses, and trolleys for work, school, and for life. If you shop at the Springfield Mall or along Baltimore Pike, chances are you've been helped by an employee who got there on the 109, on the 107, the 110, or the 101. Anyone in Upper Darby can tell you that thousands of middle and high school students rely on the 101 and the 102 trolleys to get to school every day. And patients going to the doctor at Crozier or at Mercy Fitz in Darby for health care often get there on the 113, the 114, or the 115 buses. It's obvious that most suburbs revolve around cars. But whether you ride SEPTA once in a blue moon or every day, Delco itself would not function without SEPTA's reliable and frequent service. Our property values, our hospitals, our nursing homes, our businesses, our schools, all of our communities rely on transit. And it's not just about easing car traffic or reducing emissions, although those things are insanely important. Transit is about connecting people to jobs, connecting businesses to great labor forces, and to building wealth for everyone. And yes, this is also about racial justice. SEPTA connects our historic black communities like Chester, Darby, and Upper Darby, and the rest of the region at large. If SEPTA is weakened so that our efforts to improve racial equality, equity, and increase economic opportunities for everyone in the county, we should be explicit about this because we're living in a horrifying moment where diversity, equity, inclusion are supposed to be bad words. They're under fierce attack from the president, and too many institutions are buckling under the pressure. In Delco, we're not going to take that.
Yeah.
Transit is critical for racial justice here in Delco, and so we're here to defend transit. Transit is equity. Transit is opportunity. Transit is freedom.
Yeah.
That's another one that's So when our delegation goes back to Harrisburg in this June to hammer out the budget, let me be crystal clear. We are not coming back without a budget that funds SEPTA. We're calling on the Senate Republican majority to heed our economists, our employers, our workers, and understand that transit benefits everyone. Yes, it does. We need to stop the brinkmanship. We need to find a solution for the Commonwealth. And we're calling on Governor Shapiro, Speaker McClinton, Leader Bradford to stand firm in their commitment to get a deal for transit statewide. Because when we fight,
we win.
When we fight,
we win.
When we fight,
we win.
Thank you.
Woo!
Bring up my colleague from the House, Representative Carol Kazim.
From the senator. I'm like, this fell. I don't know whose this is. 6 ABC.
I think it still works.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Representative Carol Kazim. I represent the 159th District. Part of my district is right here where we're standing in Chester City. I'm a proud Chester City resident and native. And that's right. When I learned that SEPTA was going to have to cut routes and increase fares by 22%, I was extremely disappointed. I know that myself and other colleagues have had many conversations with SEPTA over the past year or two about the cuts. And now, given with everything going on federally, I know that it has trickled down to us on the state. I would be remiss without announcing my representative colleague, Heather Boyd, who also represents areas that would be impacted by SEPTA. You can give her a round of applause. She's out here standing in unity. And with so many other challenges that we face here in Delaware County, especially here in my district, I just knew that this was the last thing that the Delaware County residents need to bear. And now that I found out we're Delconians, we don't need no more. The massive cuts that SEPTA announced would trickle down and affect us here in the 159th District and also across Delaware County. Some of those effects would include the capital initiative that my office had been discussing with SEPTA over the few years about customer accessibility and the renovation of the Chester Transportation Center, where we are standing right here, right now. Almost 35% of workers in the 159th district are employed by Fair Acres, White Horse, Riddle Village, Riddle Hospital, Rose Tree Place, and few other healthcare entities, along with also realtors as well. They are all riders of SEPTA. This cut would impact their mobility to work, especially for those that work 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. or also 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. With the proposed cut by SEPTA of certain regional lines, workers depend on if the buses have to, workers have to also depend on if the buses stop running after a certain time. 20% of the residents here in this district use SEPTA to get to work into the city and also in Delaware. In addition, patients rely on SEPTA to attend appointments. Many, since we have new words, many seasoned, we're not saying seniors anymore, y'all, all right? I've been telling people that we're using seasoned. Many seasoned residents. Primary care has been moved further out of this district where many of them rely on SEPTA to get to Chas Ford or even Broomall. 50% of residents, and I'm going to say that again, 50% of residents in the 159th district rely on SEPTA. The fare increase places a significant impact, especially for those in low-income communities. But truthfully, nobody wants to see any more increase to rideshare because it's really another bill to try and just get by. Now it's, should I just walk with many grocery bags to save despite the long distance so I can save a little to get to work or to an appointment? Or should I just cancel my appointment or call off work just to have enough money to get my child to school? There are so many talks about the 118 and the 119 also being cut, which are both important buses because our college students and also the workers depend on it. For those that are attending Delaware County Community College, and for the students and faculty that attends Cheney University. Also, many that are employed by these colleges also rely on SEPTA. I can't even begin to talk about the importance of education and how a student should not have to worry about making it to class that would change their future for the better because of these cuts. Many high school students, for many that don't know, also rely on SEPTA. The 2026 World Cup is coming up. America 250 is also coming up. These are all initiatives that SEPTA plays a big role on. Listen, I can go on and on and on, but as a legislator, just like my colleague who's not here today, but Chairwoman Representative Jennifer O'Mara, who's been leading this task on as well on behalf of the Southeast delegation and the House, we are here to support as the Commonwealth. We are here to work and we're here to find solutions along with SEPTA. That's the line right there. Along with SEPTA to ensure that the residents of Delaware County and also in the 159th district do not have to bear any more distress on their plates. Again, I can go on and on and on about the impact. And I know that there has been times that we've had these conversations previously before, but I can assure you as the Commonwealth, my representative colleague here, Heather Boyd, Representative Gina H. Curry, Representative Lisa Borowski, Representative Leanne Kruger, Representative Dave DeLoso, and Representative Craig Williams. We are having conversations about how we can support and help SEPTA. So thank you all for having us today. We want to thank all of the unions, the advocates, and many of those that have joined us today. Thank you.
Bear Roots. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
You know, when I was a little boy, and my dad would get mad at me because I did something stupid or made a bad decision, he would say, "Boy, have you lost your mind." And when I saw the cuts that SEPTA was proposing, I said to SEPTA, to myself, "Have you lost your mind? There's no way we're going to withstand, accept, or even believe that you're going to shut down this train station. No. That trains aren't going to stop here. That's absolutely crazy." But I understand. And it's not about you, SEPTA, particularly. It's about the people who spoke before me. It has to do with money. Nobody understands money more than a mayor of the only bankrupt city in America. That's me. We have to make decisions every day based on money or the lack of. We have to beg, borrow, and steal. We have to ask for cooperation, advocacy, and anything that works. I just had a conversation as I'm standing up here with an organization that brings Little League Baseball to the city every year. And they come to the city for a little bit of help. And I mean a little bit of help. A little bit of dirt, a little bit of stone, a little bit of get the field ready. And this year I can't do it. Have I lost my mind? That's how I feel. I understand SEPTA. The board of SEPTA, the new chair was in my office just last year. And we talked about the city of Chester and how important SEPTA is to the city of Chester. I know it's not personal from the board. I know it's about money. That's why everybody is here learning about the situation and what we all can do to advocate. We need to stand like we're standing today. We need to write letters, make phone calls. We need to stand behind our state senators and our state reps and our governor. Our governor has worked with me through this bankruptcy process on a direct basis, he and his Department of Community and Economic Development. We have plans for downtown. And central to the plan is the fact that we have transportation. People will live in downtown Chester. They're not scared. Okay, if they can get access to Philadelphia and not have a car, if they have access to Wilmington, you can get to anywhere in the world from Chester, Pennsylvania. We have the trains, we have the buses, you can get to the airport in 10 minutes. This is a key hub. Senator, you talked about racial justice. I was afraid to say it, but I'm not going to let a white senator talk about racial justice and a black mayor ain't going to talk about it. You know, you're talking about 45% service cuts across the board. If you're going to do 45% service cuts, SEPTA, then cut everything by 45%. Don't cut me by 100%. I'm not going to have that. We got two train lines here in this county, and the neighborhoods couldn't be too different. There's a college out there called Swathmore where a train line runs through. There's a college in Chester called Widener that a train line runs through. If you were to turn the cameras around and just look one block, you've got employees up and down the waterfront who catch this train every day to come to work and go home from work. My wife, who's in the crowd right now, loves hopping on the train to meet up with her girls to watch a movie up in Philadelphia. This is our lifeline, you guys. This is our lifeline for just regular entertainment, regular transportation, but it's the lifeline for saving Chester. Transportation is key. SEPTA, we're not going to stand quietly on this one. And to the state, to the reps, to the senators, to all you guys on the budget committee, and directly to the governor himself, you're going to hear from us. We are not going to accept service cuts here in Chester. And I was told to say, my council members who are here as well, we're all one body. We all have the same objective in mind, and it's to save Chester. Join the fight for Chester. It's a city. It's the only city in the county. It's the first city in the state. You can't be ignoring us. If you are, let's start talking more about racial justice. Because there can't be any other reason why you're ignoring us. Let me introduce next Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanland.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Senator Carney, for convening us. And thank you to all of my colleagues, all the people who came out today because they understand how important SEPTA is to this community and this region. So I'm Mary Gay Scanland. I represent PA 5. That stretches from South and Southwest Philly, the port, the airport, the shipyard, the Navy Yard, a lot of jobs down there that people use SEPTA to get to, all the way out, all through Delaware County and then up through Norristown and Valley Forge. SEPTA is the lifeblood of this region, and it's so important to so many people to get to work, to get to their doctor, to get to entertainment, to see their families. We just can't sustain these kinds of cuts. I took SEPTA to work for 35 years until I got the job in DC. It doesn't go quite that far. But that's how I got to work every day, like so many other people throughout this region. It's really, I can't stress how important it is. Now at the federal level, we've done what we can over the last few years. We got money through the American Rescue Plan to keep SEPTA and other transit systems afloat during the pandemic. We've gotten funding for replacing cars on the Market-Frankfurt line, for making stations more accessible, for beefing up the trolley lines, etc. We need all that work to continue, but at this point in time, we need the state, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, particularly the Senate, to step up, to make those investments. At the federal level right now, we're seeing an historic effort to implement the biggest wealth transfer from working people to billionaires in our nation's history, through obscene spending cuts, through tax giveaways, through things as simple as eliminating direct file through the IRS, which let people file for free. We just announced that last year, and this administration just cut it. So we need to do everything we can to support our communities locally, to make sure that people can get to the training and the good jobs we've been able to bring to places like the Navy Yard and the shipyard, to be able to support people to get out to Delaware County Community College, to Widener, to places where they can make the investments in themselves to build a better future for their families. So it's really important that we're all here today, and we need the Commonwealth to step up. And I think, as Mayor Root said, have you lost your damn mind? Thank you. And I want to introduce, next is Anthony Patty from Smart 1594.
I need everybody to get a little hyped up. When I say SEPTA, you say funding. SEPTA! Funded! Funded! It's an honor to be out here because I personally drive out here, and I'm speaking for 350 bus operators, train operators, and trolley operators. We love to serve all these counties. The first thing I have to say is, let's do some fun facts. We're standing in the first city in Pennsylvania. We need to understand that this is precious. This is where everything started. So, you know, it's a good thing that we're out here today. The oldest routes in the county, the 101 and the 102, they're trying to cancel them routes and they're trying to shorten them routes. We need them routes. You know, we have a job to do. Our job is to get these kids to school on time. Sometimes these kids are happy to see our faces because they don't have anybody else. We have a job to do to get people to work, and we also have a job to do to get our seniors to the hospital and appointments, which is the most important. The city has already had 2 hospitals that shut down. Let's keep this in mind. Springfield Hospital and yes, correct. And now they're talking about closing they're talking about closing Crozer, Chester, and Teller Hospital. So you have to understand that if this happens, these people have to get to their appointments and things of that nature. They need transportation. These seniors need transportation. SEPTA has proven that they can get the job done. Everybody know we had the Pope come, we had the Eagles parade, we got them there on time, safely, and just so you know, we're teaming up with them every time, and we're on the same accord with SEPTA to get everybody to and from there safely. So I have to stand here, not just on the behalf of myself, but on the behalf of them also today. We are the birthplace of the United States. We have the first zoo, the first library. We have the first American flag, the first hospital, the first black college, Cheney. Why are we the last to get funding? Why are we the last to get funding? So, you know, I wanted, you know, to come here and just put some sight on everybody's minds and some eyes and ears, and we need to push this thing further. It should not stop here, and we got a job to do, y'all. I want to introduce Christine Ruther, Councilwoman. I'm sorry, I tore your last name.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Richard Womack, Vice Counsel for Delaware County, and I'm joined here with our councilperson, Christine Ruther. This is a day that I wish we did not have to be here, but we're here. And we will not lay down, but we're going to let SEPTA know and anybody else know. We're going to stand and continue to fight. When I look at the impact that things will happen, we will lose so much. We will lose jobs. We will lose people being able to get to their medical appointments. We will lose kids being able to get to school. These things just cannot happen. So we must stand up and raise our voice. We can't keep silence on this, because silence don't have a place for this time. And I know that once we come together and we stand up, that we can make a huge difference. We can make the impact that it needs to happen. SEPTA, you're not going to make these cuts. We're going to call out on our elected officials to make sure that they stand and get the resources that we need to continue to support SEPTA. When I look back last month, there was 10,000 county employees that took rides on SEPTA. 10,000. So do you imagine what would happen if they made these cuts? No. Services wouldn't be able to continue on in the county. People will feel a huge impact. And we are here to protect lives, to support our residents. And the only way we can do it is to make sure that we keep the bloodline going. And what's the bloodline? SEPTA. What's the bloodline? SEPTA. And you can't cut my bloodline. So I'm going to yield the balance of my time to my colleague, Councilwoman Christine Ruther.
Thank you, Councilman Womack. I can't emphasize how important transit is to this region. As we're gearing up for things that we really all ought to be celebrating, America 250, the Major League All-Star Game, you know, these kinds of things that are coming to the county, and people aren't going to be able to get there. People don't want to come in and rent a car that they have to pay to park. They want a public transit system. Yeah. And we're going to be having visitors from all over the world during the summer, next summer, and they're not used to having to have a car when they're in a city. They're used to being able to get on public transportation, and we're not going to be able to give that to them if these services are cut. You know, it's not going to be a surprise to anybody who lived here or has been trying to buy a house or rent an apartment, but when you're close to a transit center, it costs more. Why does it cost more? Because people want to live there, because they can use it to get places. And you know something? Delaware County has 2 train lines, one of which they're threatening to shut down, and they are the only 2 train lines that go into University City. And you know what one of the biggest employers is in this region? It's the University of Pennsylvania and its medical system. And it's not just them. It's all the other hospitals and colleges that are over there, all the startup organizations, and it's because people can get there. What's going to happen to all those apartments that are close to those transit places when nobody can get there anymore? It's going to be a problem. And it's not just going to be a problem for the people who ride SEPTA. It's going to be the problem for the people who own those apartments. It's going to be the problem for the people who provide services in those areas. It's going to be a problem for all the people who have to drive in those areas. I mean, I don't know, but if you've ever, like Mondays and Fridays, you get on the Blue Route, you're going in any direction, it's pretty freaking scary already. Can you imagine what happens if everybody who has to get to their job in Delaware, and everybody who has to get to their job in Philadelphia, and everybody who has to get to their job in Radnor or out in King of Prussia, Conshohocken, what do you think those roads are going to be like? This is a quality of life issue, not just for the residents of Chester, but for the entire county. And it's not just a financial issue for the residents of Chester and the residents of Delaware County. It's a financial issue for this entire state. I want to find a way, and I'm going to be calling on my elected officials to say, tell me who I call. Not you guys. I already got you. I know you got our backs here. But tell me who to call. Give me the phone numbers. Give me the emails. And let me reach out to all those people who represent trees and rocks and deer more than people, and ask them, how do you think you have your schools? How do you think you fund your medical facilities out there? How do you think you fund those colleges and universities that are still out there in the middle of nowhere? You do it on the backs of taxes paid from this region. So my point is to all of you guys, I love you.
I love having you having our backs. But tell us who we need to talk to, give us a script, and we're going to figure out a way to send them a message. Thank you. Woo. And speaking of those colleges, we've got a guest from Swathmore College here to talk to us, Anthony Kazim, who is the Associate Vice President of Campus Services. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. Quite a beautiful day today. I'm Anthony Castagnano. I'm Anthony Castagnano from Swathmore College, the Associate Vice President for Campus Services. Well, it's important to note, Swathmore College is the first college or university to sign up for SEPTA's Key Advantage UPass program. We are proud to have been the first, and to ensure that all Swathmore students, faculty, and staff members are able to participate in these programs. Our students use SEPTA on an average of 8,000 rides a month. That's 8,000 rides a month if you look at that. And on average, nearly 85% of our students use SEPTA at least once a month. That's an important part of our program here. Our participation in the program also aligns with Swathmore's commitment to sustainability. It's a very important part of our programming. The Swathmore train station is literally on our campus. And for good reason. SEPTA is an invaluable resource. Every semester, our students take the train to Philadelphia for courses that specifically focus on the city. Students in a course on the 2024 election, for example, conducted focus groups with people in neighborhoods all over Philadelphia. Swathmore students have explored the city's rich musical history, studied sustainability initiatives, and learned about the politics of punishment, to name just a few of the many seminars in which the city itself serves as a classroom. Swathmore students also use SEPTA to travel to internships, like at CHOP, Opera Philadelphia, and the Federal Reserve, among many others. And of course, to enjoy the city's vibrant artistic culture and culinary scene, they and their parents also contribute to the city's economic life, especially during Restaurant Week. In conclusion, SEPTA makes a living, learning, and working in this region possible. It's not just transit. It connects us to each other. The proposed cuts would be more than devastating. They would bring us to a literal standstill. I join others here today in urgently calling for SEPTA to receive the funding it needs to continue delivering on its mission. And now I'd like to introduce Media Councilwoman Joy Washington. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. I might have to make this short because I have a bus to catch after this. Yeah. So my name is Joy Washington, as I already said, and I serve on the SEPTA Citizens Advisory Committee, and I'm also a council member in Media Borough, where I'm also running for mayor, and I'm also part of our Media Borough Council's Transportation Committee. You may know Media from the 101, which is now the D1 trolley that runs right through State Street. It's part of our town's identity, even in our logo. Alongside the trolley, we have several bus routes, including the 118, which I got on today, and a regional rail stop that helps people commute to work, school, medical appointments, and to our many events and to their polling places. I got here today on the 118 bus, which is one of the 50 bus routes to be eliminated if there is no public transit funding. I grew up in Germantown, Philadelphia, Northwest Philadelphia, born and raised, where my family depended on SEPTA's buses and the Chestnut Hill West Line to get to work, school, and to doctor's appointments. And that experience is why I chose to live in Media, a place where walkability and public transit make life more accessible. And it breaks my heart to know that the Chestnut Hill West Line is one of the several regional rail lines, along with the Wilmington line, that will be on the chopping block. In Media, small businesses rely on employees who use their trolley to get to work. Cutting transit funding puts these businesses, their workers, and their customers at risk. Eliminating routes and reducing service will hurt our economy, our public health, and our environment. More cars on the road mean more traffic, pollution, and safety concerns, and fewer affordable options for commuters. Towns like Media need frequent, reliable transportation. Without it, we face more congestion and fewer opportunities for all. SEPTA makes Delco a great place to live. Delco's towns evolved around SEPTA's train stations and streetcar stops. Our charming town centers that attract families and make Delco a great place to live would face blight without SEPTA, and property values throughout the county would fall. In closing, I want to thank State Rep Jennifer O'Mara, Senator Tim Carney, our county officials, and Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanland for supporting public transportation. Now it's time for the Pennsylvania legislature to act as one. Let's bring funding to a vote and deliver for the people and patriots of Pennsylvania. Next up, I am introducing Councilwoman Tanya Allen. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. I am Council President Tanya Allen from the great Sharon Hill Borough. And I want to just, I can echo all of the sentiments that everyone else shared. Those are the real impacts that we are facing right now. But I have a different perspective, or well, I can share a municipal perspective. So in Sharon Hill, we've been working on economic development. We've been working on how to make our community more walkable, how to invite businesses and families to come and live and play there. And part of that is the Wilmington line that runs through Sharon Hill. We rely on that. For years, I took the Wilmington line to work in Central City, and then I worked in Wilmington, Delaware, downtown. I use it every day. The other perspective, the human perspective, this was a place where I forged relationships with my neighbors and fellow commuters. Every day we stood outside and we wait for the train together. We talked about our family life. We talked about our children. These are the things that downstream we're going to see a big difference in. You think about communities and homes and households. If my train didn't come through if the Wilmington line didn't come through Sharon Hill and I couldn't walk to the train station, or I had to leave work earlier, would I have made my son's baseball games in the evening? If my commute that was 40 minutes became 2 hours because I had to take other routes, buses and trolleys. These are the things that will over time impact our lives. Our actual quality of life is literally on the Wilmington line, which is this one right here. We really need our legislature, senators, our representatives, and Governor Shapiro to really step up and fight for our communities. We use this Wilmington line. It connects us to cut us off from the livelihood of Center City, the work in Center City, from the entertainment and media to cut us off is just an injustice. And it is not fair to the people that rely on it. And we will see all of the difference. If I don't get home for 2 hours later, I won't be able to manage my lawn, maybe. I can't cut my grass. The facade of my community now looks different. This is very personal. It will impact people not only in our pockets because we can't get to work or we have to change our work schedules, but just in our relationship with neighbors, community, and our children and our spouses. So again, General Assembly, please stand up. Please fight for us. We need to see SEPTA continue. We do not need to see any of these cuts on these SEPTA lines that are coming through Delaware County. Delaware County needs SEPTA. SEPTA needs Delaware County. We will be here. We will be riding. Please don't cut us off. And to our legislature, please fight for us. I will now introduce Mr. Corey Glavin-Dennis, Assistant Dean of Nursing at Pennsylvania Institute of Technology.
Good morning. My name is Corey Glavin-Dennis, and I'm the Assistant Dean of the Walter R. Garrison College of Nursing at Pennsylvania Institute of Technology. I'm a proud nurse, a proud employee of Delaware County, and I am proud to work at a college that has a student cohort of nursing students that are over 90% proud Black women. These women wake up every day and come to school with the objective of making their communities better. They come to school every day out of service to others. And the first thing they think about in the morning is not, what am I going to eat for lunch today? It's not how tired they are from studying all through the night. It's not how tired they are from working side jobs to make it through school. It is, how will I make it to class today? The cuts that are proposed at this moment will severely impact our students' ability to attend their classes and clinical rotations. These classes and clinical rotations are required for our nursing students to be able to enter the healthcare field. Eliminating bus routes and reducing rail services would create insurmountable barriers for aspiring nurses, particularly those from underserved communities. The ramifications extend beyond education. Pennsylvania is already grappling with a significant nursing shortage, with projections indicating that a deficit of 20,000 nurses by 2026, according to a recent Hospital and Health System of Pennsylvania survey. These challenges will make it even harder to meet the quotas to be able to care for our communities. These students are your friends, they're your families, they're your children, and they're reaching out their hands to make the world a better place, not for themselves, but for everyone else. I urge the Pennsylvania General Assembly to fully fund SEPTA in the upcoming state budget. Investing in public transportation is a commitment to education, it's a commitment to health care, and the well-being of all of our communities. It is our responsibility to ensure that those individuals called to pursue a career of service to others have the means to achieve that goal, and that our healthcare system remains robust, responsive to the needs of the Commonwealth. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So I think you heard a bit, just a part of the story about what SEPTA really means to Delco. We tried to give a wide variety of people, of speakers to come here and talk. We want to send out a few thanks. So,
just so you know how much this is instrumental to our communities, we want to thank and also acknowledge the operating engineers for being here, standing in solidarity. Look, y'all can go ahead and give the operating engineers, they the ones. Local 413 and also the laborers, they're probably in the back somewhere. IBEW 654, the bricklayers, Local 19, Circle, SEPTA Union and Transit Police, Councilman Paul Johnson of Prospect, Francis Sheehan, Delaware County Foundation, the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce, Councilwoman Tamika Williams, Councilwoman Portia West of Chester City, Councilman Shaquan Davis of Chester City, SEPTA workers, shout out to y'all, definitely all the way. The Philadelphia Union, CCIP, and please do not charge it to my heart if I forgot you, but I just thank you all for being here today. Senator, you want to go ahead and take it on?
all right, so thanks everybody for coming out today. We're happy to take any questions.
What can we do?
What more can you do?
You can contact, in terms of the state reps here, contact our offices. We will give you those phone numbers and email addresses that Christine Ruther asked for. Call Joe Pittman. Absolutely. Okay, we're done. Thank you very much.